thought the first half was the best we've played all year. These guys, I think with a longer week, we had a chance to work on a lot of different things. One of my concerns coming to the game was with Turner and LeBeau and their front court and their depth with Davis. And I thought, they run a lot of pick and roll action like we do. And I thought our guards and our front court guys really did an exceptional job in the first half of being disruptive and really taking away some of the post presence that they've shown. And in the second half, we didn't do quite as good a job. And I thought LeBeau, had a great second half. But these guys, offensively and defensively, I thought played really, really well. I wish we would have handled the lead a little bit better coming out of the locker room. We shared it, we passed it, we moved it, we had inside-outside action. I thought Kenny and Irving and Brad really did a great job. When they got in the lane, they knew when to take it to the rim, and when they got in the lane, they knew when to throw it out to each other. And got off to a little bit of a slow start shooting the ball, but to close out the first half, Murphy got involved. Kenny hit a couple in a row, kind of opened up the lead for us. But I thought overall, playing the game in the first half, really without Patrick, against that kind of front court, I thought our defense was disruptive enough with the press and half court that we're able to kind of weather that battle a little bit with Will and Pat being in foul trouble.
What went into putting Murphy back on the starting lineup today?
Well, one of my concerns, and I talked to Patrick and Will about it, one of my concerns was I thought last year when Eric got hurt, when he came back, he never regained the form he was at for whatever reason. And we were really deep in the front court last year with Vernon and Alex and Chandler and Pat. And he kind of, he got through the year and gave us some good spot minutes here and there. But I didn't want the same thing to happen to him as it did a year ago. And on a quick turnaround after playing Arizona and then coming back and playing Ryder, it was probably too quick to put him back in there. But having a week and talking to those guys, Will is going to give you what he gives you, but we do need Eric's ability to shoot the ball, stretch the defense, size, rebounding. He can do some different things offensively. We needed to get him back in there. And it was nothing that Will did wrong. Actually, Will did a great job in his absence, but we've got to get the front court done collectively as a group. And I thought Eric really played very, very well in the first half. He made some great moves inside. He knocked down some threes and did a good job defensively.
Was it a case in the second half of maybe not coming out with quite the same intensity and that kind of let them get back into it, or did they just make a great adjustment?
Well, one of the things that they did do is they decided to really go small because of the way we were really guarding pick and roll action, and they put Middleton at the 4 quite a bit, and then they really tried to space the floor, and Turner got loose a few times. Middleton made some threes, but they knocked down some threes, and they didn't make any in the first half. So they decided to go smaller, and that actually worked out well for us with Patrick being in foul trouble because we could play Will Uget and or Casey at the power forward spot. Our intensity needed to be better there to start the second half, and it wasn't. We gave up 4 quick points, and it pretty much stayed between 16 and 20, and they cut it down to 12, and then we got a couple stops. We switched and went to zone, and these guys got some rebounds, got out on the break, we got fouled, and we made free throws and shot the ball better from the line than we had the last few games.
Kenny, I think this is like the second year in a row that you've won the MVP award. What's it like coming home and being able to come out?
It's always great, to come back home and have a great performance. This is our 3rd year here, and the first year we lost, but the last 2 years we won. So, I think I played good overall, but I'm more happy with the win.
Kenny, the coach from Texas A&M was talking about your shooting range. How deep are you comfortable in your shooting range when you talk about your shooting in general?
I feel like, when I hit one, I could stretch out a little bit, my range. I think, they got in the first half, they got in the 2-3 zone, and I hit one deep one. I think basically, I think Irving, did a great job creating, on offense. And he found me open on a lot of shots.
Coach, how comfortable do you feel how far out from the basket?
My thing with Kenny has always been, he's a guy that when he's got his legs under him and he's on balance, he can make deep shots, and if guys are closing to him, he can get it off. And I'm really happy for him this year because it's been, a lot of fun for me as a coach. I think when he got here as a freshman, he was such a prolific scorer, and he did it from behind the line because, as you mentioned, he could get it off. And I think he went through a great learning process where he had a chance to play a lot as a freshman. And then last year, I think he added some different things. But I think right now, offensively, he's becoming more and more complete where, his turnover ratio is really good. He's making pull-up mid-range jump shots. He's making runners. And I think with him doing that, it's opened up other areas for him behind the line. I think the biggest thing that he's doing right now is I think he's finally realizing how long a game is. And even to start the game, he kind of just was biding his time. He didn't really force anything. He was very patient, relaxed. And, when he gets his legs under him, he can go on a roll. When he shoots tough shots or off-balance shots, he doesn't shoot quite as good of a percentage. But what happens is when he and Irving, when they do have some looks from deep and they knock down a couple of those, it actually creates better spacing for our team because teams got to come out to them. I think the adjustment Kenny's made over the last couple of years is understanding what shots to take and what shots not to take. And clearly his shooting percentage this year is at a much, much higher rate than it has been the last couple of years. But he's really grown in a lot of ways, and certainly for him to be able to come back home and play the way he did the last 2 years and just to see his growth, I'm really happy for him.
Yes, they definitely, preach, defense before the game. And, coming out, I was kind of surprised. I thought they would, half a little harder on picks. And I think, we got a lot of threes off in the first half. But, overall, they're a great defensive team. I think we came out in the first half and we just built a great lead.
Kenny, now that you guys are 10 games into the season, how do you feel about the way your offense is running? And how close are you guys?
I think overall, offense is great. I think what we need to do now is just, put it together through a whole complete game, first and second half. I think, we got great, we passed the ball great, we got great execution. I think, we're doing a great job, getting the ball to the big man, everyone's scoring. It's a balanced scoring attack from everywhere.
Really, 23 for 30 for the line, is that a little bit more like what you want to see?
Yeah, I think we're a better free throw shooting team than the stats show. Kenny's a good free throw shooter, as is Irving. Brad made his free throws. He was 6 for 6. I think Will and Pack need to continue to get better. It was good to see Casey missed his first 2. He came back and made 2 later. But I mean, how good of a free throw shooting team, are we percentage-wise? I know we're better than 59%. And they've worked at it and they've put the time in, and we just need to keep doing that.
Billy, what are your changing points that you think from this game?
Well, I think one is the first half, just how balanced we were all the way around on offense and on defense. And I think, as Kenny said, one of the things that happens is when you have a new team, Irving and Kenny are so comfortable playing for each other. There's great chemistry with those two guys on the floor. Irving knows where he's at. He knows where Irving's at. But for Irving and Kenny, the rest of the team is all new. There's a camaraderie between those two guys. And I think them going through what they did the first half and starting to see what's open, what's available. I thought, Brad Beal got a lot of great looks tonight. Some of them went in, some of them didn't went in. We found Murphy. I think there was times in the Arizona game and some previous games where, we weren't taking advantage of what the defense was giving us. Tonight in the first half, we did that. Those guys drove it. Instead of taking tough shots or difficult shots, they found open guys wide open. And then when they could get all the way to the rim, they finished. So I think that this is just going to be a work in progress. And the one thing I'll say about them is they're great kids. They're coachable. They listen. They want to get better, and they want to win. And I think they know that we have a high ceiling offensively because of what we have out there. But it all starts with their unselfishness, their ball movement, their extra passing. And, again, I didn't think we scored a lot of points in the second half. I thought it was an okay second half offensively for us at best, and we still scored 84 points. So we still have a lot of room for improvement. I think the second half, just you go into halftime and you're up by 11, and now all of a sudden you come out in the second half and you do that. That 11 lead, now it's 7, and now you're in the middle of a dogfight. So we're not going to always be up by 25 points going forward here, and we've got to be able to play both halves.
Mike, leg okay?
Who?
Mike?
I think so. I think he's fine.
How
you want to make game here? Another 48 hours
I think so. I think one of the things that we did and we talked about is we really approached this week a little bit differently than the last couple of years because of what you mentioned, playing Saturday, Monday, Thursday. We tried to, again, I think for anybody that's coaching, this is a hard time of year because campus starts to disperse, guys are in finals, there's so much going on for them they need to take care of. We really tried to utilize the first 3 or 4 days of this week as just offensive improvement, working on our offense, working on their individual games, getting them a lot of shots, a lot of free throws, got them in the weight room quite a bit, and we slowly started to get back into practicing. And I thought our team was pretty fresh, lively, and sometimes this year it's not the physical part, because these guys are in good shape, it's the mental duress this time of year that all they're dealing with the pressures and stresses they have with school, games, people leaving, holidays, all those things that they've got to manage. And we just wanted them to try to utilize the first part of the week just to get better and improve, and then utilize the end of the week here to get prepared and how we wanted to play against A&M.
How important was it just to kind of take things a step forward, like you guys got a lot of points on turnover?
Yeah, I felt like we needed to be disruptive. I was concerned going into the game with the depth of their front court, with how physical LeBeau and Turner and Davis are. And they really pound the ball inside. And we tried to do some things to start the game where we were kind of mixing up pick and roll coverages. Sometimes we were trapping, sometimes we were trying to push the ball down to the sideline. And those guys did a good job, I thought, in the first half of keeping them somewhat off balance. And then I thought the press at times created some steals and some turnovers and some easy baskets for us. But the part in the first half, the difference was we made 7 threes, they didn't make any. We got to the free throw line 14 times. I think they got there 4. And then they had 3 assists, 9 turnovers. I think we had 9 assists, 3 turnovers. So that was the big part of the first half.
Kenny, let's talk about when you guys get to play defense like you did there in the first half, how good does that make your offense?
It makes our offense great. I think, we got a lot of steals in the first half. Casey had a fast break layup. I got a fast break layup. I think it just gives us easy looks. We take our easy points, and I think it just opens things up, offensively, and it gives us energy, a lot of energy. I think Coach preaches to us. He wants us to play with a lot of energy. Pat Young gives us energy, and I think overall, we get steals and all that. It just makes our team more excited.
Really, when guys play in front of hometown crowds, do you worry a little bit about what that whole pressure thing?
I do. I do. Lee Humphrey was a guy that when we went back to Knoxville, never really he felt comfortable. I thought Patrick Young handled it really well last week going back to Jacksonville. I think with Kenny just playing here before and playing like he did a year ago, the thing I just told him was just let the game come to you, just play, and just take what the defense has given us and do what we're doing, and there's going to be enough opportunities for him. But there is a mindset I think you have to have. I don't think it's ever easy when you come back. One thing I didn't tell Canis, but I told Patrick Young this when he went back to Jacksonville. All those people in the stands, they're still going to love you regardless of what happens. And just because, when you're back home, you want to do well, you want the team, there's so much you want to have happen in a positive way. I think it says a lot about Kenny just mentally coming in and staying focused on what our team needed to do, and as a result, he had a great game because I think he really played the right way. Thank you.